Good morning and welcome back to Global Entertainment News TV. I am your host, Bisola, and it is time to take a look at what is making the headlines today in our newspaper review segment. Let's start with the punch. Tinubu to Amupiton, make 2027 poll transparent, violence-free. Tinubu to Amupiton, make 2027 polls transparent, violence-free. Moving on to next. Wealth means nothing without a good name. Kensington Adebutu. Wealth means nothing without a good name, says Kensington Adebutu. Up to next. Medical tourism. Spending falls 52% on that Tinubu says CBN report. Medical tourism. Spending falls 52% on that Tinubu says CBN report. To next headline. 2027. Jonathan faces mounting pressure as drop presidential bid. 2027. Jonathan faces mounting pressure to drop presidential bid. Up to next. Federal government launch nationwide crackdown on oil, gold smugglers. Federal government launch nationwide crackdown on oil, gold smugglers. Next headline. Assassinant shoots shawarma vendor dead in Lagos. Assassinant shoots shawarma vendor dead in Lagos. Next headline. Anambra poll. INEC team arrives for mock accreditation. Anambra poll. INEC team arrives for mock accreditation. That's it for the punch. We move to the Daily Independent, The Nation. Transparency. Credibility, integrity must define elections, says Tinubu. Transparency, credibility, integrity must define election, says Tinubu. To next one. Consensus chair bid. PDP split over ex-minister Turaki. Consensus chairs bid. PDP split over ex-minister Turaki. To next headline. EFCC backs student loan. Consumer credit with 100 billion naira. EFCC backs student loan. Consumer credit with 100 billion naira. To the next headline. Ayedatiwa Akangba Akoko after truck crash Q8. Ayedatiwa in Akangba Akoko after truck crash Q8. Moving on to the next. First Lady inaugurates Digital Learning Center in 10 states. First Lady inaugurates Digital Learning Centers in 10 states. To the next headline. Amupiton. Anambra poll will demonstrate INEC high standard. Amupiton. Anambra poll will demonstrate INEC high standard. To the next headline. Kanu sack 5 SANS orders. Kanu sack 5 SANS orders. Up to next. UK court dismisses P&ID's case on cost. UK court dismisses P&ID's case on cost. To the next headline. SDP expel National Chair Gaban orders. SDP expels National Chair Gaban orders. Up to next. Police arrest Sowore in Abuja. Police arrest Sowore in Abuja. That's it for the Nation. Move to the Daily Independent. Tinubu to Amupiton. Anambra Goba election, your litmus test. Tinubu to Amupiton. Anambra Goba election, your litmus test. Moving on to the next one. Okowa still under corruption props despite joining APC, says EFCC. Okowa still under corruption props despite joining APC, says EFCC. Up to next. Court orders INEC to prosecute minister over alleged forgery of poll results. Probes orders INEC to prosecute ministers over alleged forgery of poll results. Moving on to next. Nnamdi Kanu defends self in court. Sack legal representative. Nnamdi Kanu defends self in court. Sack legal representative. Up to next. Empty hand. Airtel orders move to bring $30 smartphones to African consumers. MTN, Airtel, others move to bring $30 smartphones to African consumers. To next headline. Reps propose rent increase must not exceed 20% of existing rent. Rep proposed rent increase must not exceed 20% of existing rents. To next one. Anyanwu's claim of forgery baseless misleading, says PDP both. Anyanwu's claim of forgery baseless misleading, says PDP both. To next headline. NEC okays Tinubu plan to rigid security agency training institution. NEC okays Tinubu's plan to rigid security agencies training institution. Up to next. Ritual killings, human trafficking on the rise, says Lagos governor. Others. Ritual killings, human trafficking on the rise, says Lagos governor. Others. That's it for the Daily Independence. We move to the Guardian. Tinubu demands credible elections as Amopiton faces Anambra Odu. Tinubu demands credible elections as Amopiton faces Anambra Odus. Moving on to the next headline. EFCC, we recovered 566 billion naira, $41 million, 1,506 properties in 2 years. EFCC, we recovered 566 billion naira, $411 million, 1,502 properties in 2 years. Up to next. Challenging elections in court makes mockery of Nigeria, says Nas laments. Challenging elections in court makes mockery of Nigeria, Nas laments. To next headline. 22,050 displaced children back to school in three Northwest states, says SCI. 22,050 displaced children back to school in 3 Northwest states, says SCI. To next headline. Defections. Makinde, APC senator decries lack of political ideology in Nigeria. Defections. Makinde, APC senator decries lack of political ideology in Nigeria. Up to next. Nigerian MTN Nigeria yet to stay. CEO retaliates as bilateral roundtable. MTN Nigeria yet to stay. CEO retaliates as bilateral roundtable. Up to next. Kanu sack legal team opt to represent self in court. Kanu sack legal team opt to represent self in court. Up to next one. From promise to paralysis, inside Akwa Ibom's lost industrial decades. From promise to paralysis, inside Akwa Ibom's lost in industrial decades. To the next headline. Again, Tinubu appeal for understanding over economic challenges. Again, Tinubu appeals for understanding over economic challenges. Up to next. Remove 4% FOB levy or consumers bear burdens, manufacturers tells federal government. Remove 4% FOB levy or consumer bear burden, manufacturers tells federal government. And that's it for our newspaper every segment. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to join us again next time. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more news and updates on Global Entertainment News TV. Once again, I've been your host, Musola, and have a wonderful day.